Former President Donald Trump continues to criticize the charges against him in the January 6th case. While on the campaign trail over the weekend, he lashed out at special counsel Jack Smith, calling him deranged. He also posted on social media, quote, "If you go after me, I'm coming after you." The Department of Justice has asked the judge to limit the information that Trump can share about this case. So for more, let's bring in Bob Costa, Finn Gómez, and Anthony Salvanto. Robert is CBS News chief election and campaign correspondent. Finn is CBS News political director, and Anthony is CBS News executive director of elections and surveys. Anthony, I'll come to you in a moment. I want to start with you, Bob and Finn, about this latest Trump with the Trump indictments. Bob, I know you've been covering the legal case of this as well as the political one. Tell us about what this protective order would do. I mean, this is a former president who's under indictment who likes to talk a lot about what he thinks he knows.
Former President Trump continues to rage against the special counsel, the judge in this case, and others involved. And his lawyer, John Lauro, over the weekend on Face the Nation and on other programs, said that the former president, should have the right to continue to speak out on First Amendment grounds, that he has the right to have free speech, especially as a candidate for federal office. But this coincides with an ongoing grand jury investigation at the federal level. And the prosecutors have expressed in a court filing their alarm, frankly, about Trump and whether he could be pressuring witnesses or disrupting the case in some way by making public statements about the case. This is all going to be adjudicated in the coming days. There was a 5 p.m. deadline tonight. Our expectation, based on our reporting, is that Trump is going to argue he's going to continue to speak out without much to constrain him in any way.
And that's what I found so fascinating about this protective order, and we're seeing this in some other cases, is that as he is undergoing all of these court challenges or court cases, he's also actively running for president and continuing to be out there on the campaign trail. I want to play a little bit of what we've heard from voters over the weekend, Finn, as the former president was campaigning.
It's just a witch hunt. They don't go after the administration in office now like that.
The rest of the world knows it's all a lie.
Every time something's going bad for Biden, they do something more to Trump to try to bring him down.
But he's got my vote. Indict him again.
And Finn, I know you've been on the campaign trail in Iowa recently, too. I mean, does this echo what you've been hearing from voters in reaction to the indictment?
Yes. I mean, you are seeing this. It's a continuation of his strength that he is politically where he is right now in this cycle. You're seeing that the former president remains the front runner, and if anything, as these investigations and indictments continue, you just see his political strength increase in these early states. In Iowa, the voters who may not have supported him after last year's midterms are now actually circling the wagons around him.
And what's really interesting, Bob, is that you have Mike Pence out there as well, campaigning for president. He's obviously a key figure in the January 6th case. And he really seems to be kind of unbound, unrestricted, feeling like he can speak his mind on this. I want to, I don't think we have the sound actually, but over the weekend, he told a voter to essentially read the Constitution. He did what he needed to do. What do you make of how we've seen Mike Pence over the past week?
It's a highly unusual situation to have a presidential candidate, a former vice president, running against his former boss, who's out of power but trying to get it back, all while the former boss is under investigation and the former vice president is a key witness in the investigation because of the pressure campaign that was put upon him. We've never seen anything like this before. Pence has always sought the presidency, even when he didn't run for it. I talked to him back in 2011, 2012, when he thought about running then, and he's always been someone with an eye on the White House, so it's not surprising he's running for the Republican nomination. But to do so against Trump, someone he was so loyal to for so long, he has been reluctant at times to take on Trump. But when he announced his campaign, he underscored his announcement by saying Trump doesn't follow the rule of law. And that has been a consistent message from Pence from day one. It's been difficult for Pence because many Republican voters still stand with Trump, as Finn was detailing. Trump remains the front runner. But Pence is going to continue to speak out and hope, in the same way former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie is doing, to carve out some space in the Republican Party where they can be an alternative who is a bit critical of Trump.
And I do want to talk a little bit more about this, but we are just getting news that Trump's legal team has argued for a much narrower protective order. So responding to what we were just talking about in terms of what the judge wanted. So we have that bit of information. Any idea of what this would possibly mean in this case?
Well, the big picture here is the Trump team is pushing back hard against special counsel Jack Smith and his concern. They're arguing they're going to continue to have their client and a federal candidate speak out. And this also comes back to the Trump strategy, which is to delay this proceeding. They don't want to see this judge be part of the case. They would like to see the location of the trial moved, possibly to West Virginia, though no legal expert believes that will happen. And they also would just like to see this kicked down the road, because ultimately many Trump allies tell CBS News that if this trial is still ongoing during the 2024 presidential race and Trump's the winner next year, that this whole thing will fall apart. So delay is a central tenet of what they're up to.
Yeah, seeing this in other cases as well. Going back to Pence, he risks not making the debate stage. Let's listen to what he told Face the Nation over the weekend.
I think the American people want to see the most experienced and proven conservative on that stage. And frankly, I'm looking forward to the debate, not just with my former running mate, but with others in this party who are walking away from America's historic commitment as leader of the free world.
So, Finn, everything that Bob just described about this Mike Pence that we are seeing, at the end of the day, though, he still hasn't made the qualifications in terms of donations yet to make that stage. What does that suggest?
Well, a couple of things. It does suggest that his trajectory has some obstacles in front of him, and the obstacles that have existed since January 6, 2021, they're still there. However, speaking to close advisors to Pence, they feel confident, they say, that he will reach the debate stage. I think what you are seeing with Pence, I did get the opportunity to speak to him in Iowa during that Lincoln Day dinner in Iowa, and I saw a very sort of broken man. Frankly, he was tired and he looked fatigued, and you see that, you contrast that to him now with Face the Nation, with that interview with Major Garrett, and it's a different Pence. I think this is a Pence unleashed. I think you see more energy with him. What else does he have to lose? And I think there's more momentum with that. And I think, at least according to those Pence sources, they believe that he will get to that stage.
I mean, and Bob, you've covered him for a long time too. Do you expect that this is, he'll be able to break through with this, or is this just a case of, this is the moment that he's in?
His legal standing may ultimately be as important historically as his political standing. While it's interesting to see a former vice president mount a run for the nomination against the president he served alongside, for him to be this witness who was already sat for hours with the grand jury, as Pence was discussing with Major Garrett on Face the Nation over the weekend, the real question looming over Pence's campaign is not only will he make the debate stage, but will he be on that ultimate stage? Will he be on the stand testifying under oath against Trump should this case on January 6th go to trial?
Debates come and go, but that is a major legacy as we will see unfold, perhaps. Bob, Finn, thank you very much. We appreciate your time in reporting.